Scenes. Scenes in GoGuardian Teacher give you more control over how your students use their Chromebooks during class. A scene is a customizable set of rules that you can apply to one or more of your GoGuardian Teacher classrooms. Using scenes, you can create a set of tabs to open automatically on each student's device when class begins, set a maximum number of tabs that students can have open at once, and create a list of allowed or blocked lists of websites for just that session. Some of our favorite uses for scenes include creating a testing environment that allows students to only access the test or related web pages, automatically opening each web page that students will need for the day's lessons, like a relevant encyclopedia article, a collaborative Google Doc, or the login page for the learning management system that your school uses. Giving students a block of free time where they are allowed to play math or other educational games, but not access other kinds of web content like social media or non-educational gaming sites. Before we show you how to create and use scenes in your classrooms though, we need to cover an important point. Scenes are not classrooms. Each scene is completely independent of your classrooms, and you can use one scene across many of your different classrooms.
So you've got your classroom set up in GoGuardian, and now you're wondering, what do you do? How do I keep my students on task? So the biggest thing you'll use is something called scenes. You'll notice that I have a couple already, but I'm going to show you how to make a test day scene, because you might want students on only one web page. So test day and use on test day. Okay, so you'll notice there are two different features. The first feature says allow mode. What this means is all websites will be allowed except for those blocked below. So that means if I type in YouTube, whatever, all those websites will be allowed except YouTube, or if you don't want them on Spotify, etc. However, on test day, you actually want the opposite. You want all websites to be blocked except for those allowed. Now, obviously, if they're taking a test, you'll want learn.sawashko.org. Might help if I spelled it correctly. Learn.sawashko.org. And I've also had some issues in the past where they would come to a screen that shows that it's been blocked. And so what I've done is I also add Launchpad. So if you go to a new tab and you type LAU, it should autofill. And then I'm just going to copy that and add that as a site that is allowed. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll down here, and you'll notice there's something that says auto open tabs. So I'm going to type in learn.sawashko.org and add the tab. What that means is that on test day, if I click the test day scene, which I'll show you in a minute, it'll automatically bring them to learn.sawashko.org. And when I click the maximum number of tabs, I'm going to click 1. Now they can only have one tab open, and the tab that will automatically open is learn.sawashko.org. So now I go back up, make sure you save the scene. You want to make sure you save the scene, so there it is. Now I'm going to go to classrooms, and I'm going to choose a class and start a scene. And I'm just going to do it for a couple minutes here, just so you can see. And I'm going to click Start Scene. What you'll notice is that it says no scene. What I'm going to do on test day is once I start a class session, I'm going to click Change Scene, and I'm going to click Test Day. What that does, if the student was logged in, what that does is it forces all the other tabs to close and forces learn.sawashko.org to open up on each student's computer. So that's great. And then once you're done, obviously you can go back to no scenes, or I've got my daily web pages, and I'll go back to that in a second. I'm going to end this session. I'm going to go back to scenes, and I'm just going to show you my daily web pages. So I've got a filter that allows all websites except for some of these that I don't want them going on. Okay, and I also have auto tabbed So when they log in, it'll automatically bring them to these 3 web pages. Okay, it'll have 3 tabs open. They'll be able to add more if they want to, but it automatically opens these up on their Chromebooks. Notice it's a daily tab, so I don't mind how many tabs they have open. As you can see, I have many tabs open myself. You can also create other pages, and then you can also delete, which is also new. In order to add a scene as a default, you're going to go to your class, settings, and you can click default scene. So let's say daily web pages, and then update your classroom. It's asking me that. Okay, update classroom. So that's how you make a default for your classrooms, a default scene for your classrooms.